Hey guys, welcome back to the Friday Vlog, where we discuss activity that goes on here with the BuzWeaver channel. That includes things like current events, headlines that are in the news, pop culture, social media, technology, and items of interest that come up during the week that allow us to have a little bit of a dialogue. And of course, you have shorts, as well as community posts here on YouTube, that is. And of course, below this video, you can find the various social media links that I belong to. So I would encourage you guys to take advantage of that and follow me there. And I want to thank all of you guys across New Tech, as well as here on YouTube, for your guys' continued support.
We start things off from KKCO 11 News in Colorado. Of course, you naturally have to say it that way. Amanda Knox reconvicted on slander in Italy for accusing innocent man and roommate's 2007 murder. And this is the point that I want to make here that we have talked about here on the BuzWeaver channel for quite some time. And that is in the UK and in Europe. If they feel an individual is guilty of something, they will continue to pursue that individual despite the fact that in a court of law or during their trial, they were found not guilty or they were exonerated. But unlike the United States, but like the United States now, these countries can continue to pursue individuals because either it's hubris or it's pride in their legal system, or the government never wants to be wrong or never wants to be seen as wrong or incapable. And so they continue to hammer on these individuals as they do here, as we see here with the establishment here in the United States as well. An Italian court reconvicted Amanda Knox of slander Wednesday, squashing her hope of removing a legal stain against her that has persisted after her exoneration in the brutal 2007 murder of her British roommate while the two were exchange students in Italy. The decision by a Florence appeals court panel marked the sixth time that an Italian court found Knox had wrongfully blamed the killing of an innocent man, the Congolese owner of the bar where she worked part-time. Knox has argued that her statements to police were forced during an intense night of questioning that included bullying, as she relied on her then remedial Italian when she was a 20-year-old university student. The panel of the two judges and 6 jurors, however, confirmed the 3-year sentence, which she already served during 4 years in Italy in Italian custody. Well, I just can't see this. Italian custody while the investigation of multiple trials ensued. The court's reasoning will be released in 60 days. So it's absolutely extraordinary. Of course, I'm drawing on parallels here, but this is an old story. You know, this is going back 17 years ago, and just extraordinary because they just are relentless. And we've seen this also when I've covered Tommy Robinson out of the UK, and Tommy Robinson is best known, of course, as a British anti-Islamist. But the thing is, you know, basically what Tommy Robinson, he had a tanning bed business. He had a business. And next door was a kebab shop, a restaurant, kebab shop. They have them there. We don't have kebab shops here in the States, at least not that I'm aware of in that particular capacity. But nonetheless, suffice to say, he was monitoring the activities that was going on there, realizing that these owners, who happened to be Middle Eastern, were grooming children. And so he made it a personal crusade to go after child groomers and these sorts of things, which anyone can totally understand as being a rather virtuous, if not righteous thing to do to help out the community, help out the people, help out children. And of course, he has constantly been pursued as being bigoted and an Islamophobe and all these things for quite some time. He's in court, very similar to Amanda Knox. They constantly bring him into court after this charge and that charge. Of course, they dived into all of his background, of course, his businesses and his, so they're going to go into his taxes, they're going to go into his filings, they're going to go into his paperwork, they're going to do all these things, to constantly have him in court. And now we're seeing the same thing happen in the United States, because from this article from the Daily Wire, the NYPD preparing to revoke Trump's gun permit. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we already know this, that the establishment uniparty is in hot pursuit of Donald Trump. They are politically persecuting Donald Trump, if that's not already apparent to anyone. But as I've always said, it is not about the trials themselves or even the outcomes of them. All the establishment needs to do is keep Donald Trump's name in the headline. And here is an example of that. And that is they have yet another headline. Now, the Daily Wire is just simply pointing this out, the pettiness and the absurdity of what they're doing. But here's one of the headlines that you can find across all of social media or across the news as I was looking here in the different outlets here on Ground News. So we have yet another opportunity for them to drag out Donald Trump yet again, as we see with Amanda Knox, as we often see with Tommy Robinson. And now we're seeing it here in the United States. And it's absolutely an indicator of how important November is going to be and putting the establishment in check. This is so vital. This is so important. And the reason that so many of these cases are novel, the reason that these cases are historic is because no one has ever tried to take on the establishment like Donald Trump. The establishment has essentially been controlling our country since the early 1900s, and this needs to end. And Donald Trump is going to try to stop them at least. If he becomes president once again, he'll have far more power, far more capability, far more knowledge, far more abilities and people that he can surround himself with that will help knock out this nonsense or at least slow it down. But it is a beast. It is, as I said, a multi-tendril monster that is going after Donald Trump. And it is very similar to what we see in Europe, in the UK, with individuals. Now, Amanda Knox is an American, of course, but it's absolutely extraordinary to think that these countries can simply just bring these people into court time after time after time after time after time because, of course, they want her to be guilty. They want Tommy Robinson to be guilty. And, of course, they want to punish these individuals. And that's the whole entire process, is to punish Donald Trump. But more importantly is to illustrate that Donald Trump and these individuals are criminals and that they should have no sense of the ability to consider themselves to be free, functional citizens. It's absolutely extraordinary. But it's an interesting parallel, and I would love to get your thoughts down in the comments below to seeing the parallels between the way law is conducted in Europe and the way it's conducted here in the United States, how an establishment, how an authoritarian government can take a hold of this and maintain control by constantly going after its citizenry. It's absolutely extraordinary. But nonetheless, guys, that's what I had for you this Friday.
All right, guys. So that's going to wrap it up for this Friday vlog. Thank you for the likes, the shares, and the comments, and all the support you generate for the channel, to include using those affiliate marketing links down below. And of course, there in the community post, I post some of my favorite movies and other links within there as well. And all these things, including your likes, including your shares, all help the channel. It is greatly appreciated, especially now in 2024, as we're continuing to move forward. We're doing quite well. Interesting videos, is it not, coming out? As we said, it's going to be a wild 2024. But I do want to thank all you guys across New Tech as well as here on YouTube for all of your guys' continued support. And I'll see all of you. Well, of course, I have much mention here that on the screen now, if you're watching on YouTube, that will be the channel icon that you guys can click on to subscribe to the channel. And I'd encourage you to do so, as well as to select notifications. That way you know when there is content here on the channel. And I'll see all you guys right there behind the Galaxy phone camera next week.